You've tuned into Bellingham Podcast Media Tech for the week of March 20th, 2017, episode 31.5. From the Inland Empire of Spokane, Washington, I'm AJ Barce.
And straight out of 99201, I'm Chris Powell. On this episode, hey, guess what? We're not alone. We've got some friends with us. Want to find out? Check this out. That's right. We're recording live right now on BPM Tech.
Welcome, Building Bridges, to Portable Podcast Production. Much better. Thank you for joining the session. How's Building Bridges been going? Nice, awesome. What's great about portable podcasting is, much like I mentioned before, I am not in a studio. The world is my studio. Like the world's my oyster.
It's our studio, AJ.
Oh, no offense. I'm sorry.
I'm in here too.
Okay.
All
so
right.
what's nice is that I'm going to walk around. Is there anybody in the room that would like to be on the show? Anybody? Any volunteers? You shrugged. I might come to you. What's your name?
Judy.
Judy, and where are you from?
Cheney, Washington, so 17 miles west.
Ooh. How have you been liking building bridges?
It's good. Been having fun.
Any
Some stuff.
Ooh, what kind of stuff?
Oh,
Really cool tech stuff.
that would be it, yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Can we give a big round of applause to Judy?
Sweet. Do I have any other takers? You look really sharp in the back.
I knew it.
What's your name?
Jordan.
Jordan, where are you from?
Cheney as well.
I didn't mean to do that. Any takeaways from building bridges?
Of course. Too many to count.
Too many to count. Okay. Any takeaways from this session so far?
Absolutely, that we can do portable podcasts anywhere we want.
I'll take that. So on that note, Chris, if anybody wanted to check a look at the show, where would they go?
Step 1, fire up your web browser. Step 2, type in www.bellinghampodcast.com. You'll see our shows. We usually do about one a week and about 30 minutes in detail in content. Or if you're in the Bellingham area, you can tune in to 102.3 FM KMRE.
Low power.
Community radio. Also, you can find us on the iTunes podcast store or the Google Play store or on SoundCloud or on Spreaker or whatever podcast solution you may have.
So thank you all in the feed for joining us, and thank you all Building Bridges for joining this session. And as we wrap up this session, Chris and I will cut and go back to our studio.
So that was fun.
That was groovy.
Oh, wow. Thanks to those that attended our podcast,
Portable podcast
production presentation, precisely. Praise and I'm done.
Quit doing your alliteration
I'm
thing.
sorry, man.
Smarty pants.
That was really a cool time.
That I have to say, so for 2017, I think we got a couple of things off our bucket list. You know,
Yes.
The podcast is going along in episodes. You requested a video, a live show some point in the future, and a video of us of BPM.
Yes.
Mr. Powell, I think we have delivered.
I think so. And not only have we delivered, this is one thing that, ladies and gentlemen, AJ and I talk about the show off mic or like when schedules permit.
Really?
Yes. When I'm not in my Delta Force SEAL Team 6 missions, we actually have time to hang out. And one of the things we talk about is, how would we like to do this in front of a live audience? Well, we did that just now. And so that's pretty cool. But knowing you, AJ, you just got to take things one step further, don't you?
Gotta take it up a notch.
You cannot be satisfied with simply putting a regular standard video camera in front of us.
Boring.
Exactly. So welcome to the age of 360 video, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, and it's all VR compatible. And if you don't know what we're talking about, do go to BellinghamPodcast.com. You will notice that there is a 4-minute and 30-second clip of Chris and I when we were doing our session at Building Bridges in Spokane, shot in 360. And it's got some cool little graphics, and you actually see like us recording above our heads and stuff. It's really cool. But out of that, it's an experience. If you have a Google Cardboard, it'll work right with your Google Cardboard on Android, on iPhone, on I don't know if Windows Phone even exists anymore. But anyway, it works on pretty much anything with the YouTube app.
Yes, and speaking of the YouTube video that we'll have on the Bellingham Podcast site.
Already there, buddy.
Exactly. So I am a newbie just like y'all listening in right now to VR. I did not know that when you play this video in YouTube, you can actually use your mouse or trackpad and click and drag, and you will see other parts of this 360 video shot. That is pretty cool.
You can look up, you can look down, you can look left, you can look right. What's cool is if you're familiar with YouTube, you've got the Expando Vision where it takes over your screen. There's another one specially made for 360 videos. It looks like a pair of goggles, and if you click on that on a mobile device, you'll notice that you get a split screen, and that's the thing that you'll put into your Google Cardboard or whatever passive VR device, or if you have a Vive. It does work in the Vive. It does work pretty much on any Oculus, whatever.
The top three candidates for VR wear.
I aim to please.
Yes.
The top three, I'm pretty sure works.
And wouldn't that be something if we can go back in time to look at the Jack Benny show or Abbott and Costello on radio?
Oh, yeah,
and see all the stuff that they were doing, because you may have heard the cheering that was going on. If you look at me during that 4-minute 30-second clip, I'm holding up signs.
Yeah.
Applause. Like make some noise. And the audience, love you. Smoochy Boochies. Y'all are doing
major smoochy boochies.
Y'all were doing great, and I was really pleased with the kind of response we had for those in attendance. So that was a blast. Check off our list.
Yep, and we had 2 more guests. I fielded responses in the crowd. It was cool.
It was pretty cool. So we're getting our chops for actually having a live studio show.
Don't push your luck, Chris.
All right, but anyway, so let's recap.
Let's recap
the conference. So that was the Washington State Higher Education Technology Conference 2017.
Building Bridges 2017.
And so AJ, what were some of your takeaways from this conference? What were some highlights?
Some highlights. So building bridges, I like building bridges. This one I felt was a little like the Davenport, you're the goods. Conference organizers, major smoochy boochies.
A good big prop. That means good job, Eastern Washington University, for taking a whole lot of time to prepare a wonderful 2-day event.
Yeah, I kind of feel like there was not as many like in the past bridges, like there was a lot of lightning rounds. There was a lot more broad scope topics, and I kind of felt that was lacking this year. But I mean, it was good. I mean, I attended a session with Apple and Meraki, kind of getting or not Meraki, sorry, Cisco. The rundown of the upcoming 802.11 R and all these other protocols for Wi-Fi.
So new steps in wireless
infrastructure,
seamless connectivity.
Yeah. So like Cisco and Apple have partnered to kind of broaden how Wi-Fi works. If you've ever been, if you're ever on a campus or even a hotel, sometimes you notice that when you go to one side of a building to another, even though they have the same Wi-Fi access point name, it's like your YouTube video kind of stops and has to rebuffer, and that's because Wi-Fi was never meant to be cellular, like grid-based, like cellular phones. Hence where we get the name cellular from, is that the towers are built into cells and they hand you off. Wi-Fi was never meant like that. It was direct line of sight connection type of a thing. Well, Cisco's got some cool tricks up their sleeves where 802.11r, the R stands for roaming. And so basically it kind of hands you off as you move around the enterprise or a campus or a hotel or your home. That's where I'm hoping to see this, because I've spoken with clients before where they have large, not mansion style homes, but they have a lot of rooms and Wi-Fi doesn't go through walls very well. And this would be a great solution to help, alleviate that.
While the official R letters for roaming, I'm going to use it for retail, because as I move from Hot Topic to PacSun to Auntie Sandy's cinnamon pretzels or something like that, there may be outages in my wireless signal in the mall.
Yeah.
And for a big expansive acreage place like a retail shopping mall, this would be a great draw for those that would normally not have good wireless connectivity as you are live streaming your shopping experience.
Or listening to, BPM on, iTunes, Google Play, SoundCloud, and everything else.
It sure beats a soundtrack in a retail store establishment.
Right. And so on that note, so you get all of your black duds from Hot Topic. Good to know. What did you get from the conference?
So one thing that I found in this conference as compared to other years, and you touched on it briefly without a lot of lightning rounds, a short topics. And I think there may have been some feedback in previous years. Perhaps I didn't get in touch with the Eastern Washington University people who organized it, but there may have been like, give us more dedicated, longer content. Sure. And so that could have been like, we're going to focus our time instead of having a whole lot of scatter stuff that people are running around everywhere, get them in, and have some long form presentations. I thought that there were some great presentations on various ways that technology can be used in higher education. And then there was a keynote. And okay, we're going to be positive here. We're going to be an upbeat show, focus on the positive. It was a very entertaining keynote.
It was a very entertaining keynote.
And it was an hour long presentation on all the new technology that is out there. And the question was raised, how can we take all the new technology that is everywhere and apply it to how we teach students? Yeah. Great question.
Didn't really get answered.
It kind of felt like I was seeing a whole lot of commercial advertisements.
I know. The approach to the keynote was a bit, it was humorous. And like I said, I like the first 15 minutes of the keynote, but it was kind of like the same tech joke over and over and over again, the evolution of the typewriter to the keyboard, to the computer, to the touchscreen.
Yes.
And then rinse, repeat, recycle. I appreciate the messaging of the fact that education should be at the forefront of this so that we don't get crap tech. Cool, I get that too. But it kind of left me in the same vein as you, where it's just like, great, we saw all these different wearables, medical, asterisk, anything that's medical and tech,
works for us.
It works for us. Like if it helps you alleviate pain, or if it helps you get off of more medication, or heck, even if it helps you just maintain the status quo and that piece of technology works for you, awesome. It's the goods. But everything else is entertainment value. If you see the value in a fitness tracker so you can count your steps and get a little vibration, we've talked about this on this show several times, great. I don't see the need for it. But if you see the value in that entertainment, cool. But don't call it anything else. It's entertainment.
I think that I've arrived at a point, I think I just figured it out as I was listening to you go off on that. I think I've reached a point in my career in technology, or in my hobby in technology, that I'm starting to see technology everywhere. And I've made inroads into this gushing river of technology that I'm flowing in right now on my inner tube, that I want to have a couple outlets or inlets or tributaries that I can go into a quieter, non-technological space.
Off-ramps.
Off-ramps, yes. And I think when I'm just immersed in all kinds of new technology, it's tough to absorb and consume it all. Yeah. I ate too much at the technology buffet.
Yeah.
And I think that may be why I'm having some gurgly tummy noises in thinking about some of the aspects. But the conference, there were many great presenters. There were many great folks that attended. And it was such a wonderful way to see, yes, there are so many people in our same boat. Yeah. In many ways.
Yeah. So. No, I totally agree. And the whole off-ramping thing, because you like Captain Metaphor over here.
Oh, yeah.
We've been driving about 80 miles an hour on the tech highway. And the further we're getting away from the concept of what the heck is this piece of tech doing for you, is where you and I are looking going, oh my gosh, we need an off-ramp now. Because we don't need everything to be tweeting us, letting us know that we have done whatever achievement unlocked it is. I don't care if it's a fitness tracker. I don't care if it's a watch. I don't care if it's a phone. We don't need to chase the brand new shiny just because it hit the market.
And what about, and also those notifications are distractions. Why do we need to get pinged all the time for fill in the blank? Why do we allow these notifications to be an active part, a demanding part of our lives? That I think is something that I've talked at length on around here. And to have something that would signal that my ice has melted in this container because the degrees.
You're out of eggs.
I'm out of eggs in the smart egg holder in my smart refrigerator. No, don't need it. stop it.
Yeah.
I want to foster additional brain cells, not have them killed by giving up my attention to a notification or an app.
I guess that was the thing that I was hoping to see kind of surmised in the keynote is we have all of this noise, this tech noise. As educators, we're going to take some of this and filter it down so that the core technology, whether it's a sensor, when we talk about a wearable, we're talking about sensors. How can we use those sensors for the greater good, not just for entertainment value? I didn't get that question. I didn't get that question answered at the end of that keynote. And I think that was the part where I just saw it as infomercial time. Like there's a smart bra, there's a smart trousers, there's smart
everything.
Yeah, everything is smart except for us. To quote Kevin Dixie, TED Talk, we'll put a link in the show notes.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Like I feel like maybe the word smart is being overused. And even in education, we're using it smart boards. Remember that? Mm-hmm. That was a hot 5 minutes that it lasted. But we need to stop using that. Like, what is it that we are trying to teach, and what are we trying to have our students learn?
I just am starting to get even more of a aversion to marketing, and that which is bombarding me many times during the day, everywhere I look, and having advertisements or other kinds of things to get my attention or to capture my mind or wallet. Exactly. So, but once again, it's great to be exposed to this as opposed. It's a way to engage in other stimulus from what our typical day is like. Yeah. And it was great to talk with a whole lot of people who attended the conference as well.
And that's exactly where I was going to go with this, is that what's nice, what's always nice about Bridges, and I think I've gone every year since it's in existence, is that I love the fact that I can leave after meeting a whole bunch of peers or meeting new people, and we're not alone. Like we're not the only people that feel that we're being inundated, but we're all kind of in the same grouping of, well, shucks, where do we go from here? Because again, the highway keeps going. There's new tech coming down the turnpike everywhere we look. What do we do?
That is the question that is elusive and rhetorical. And
it is.
Doesn't
that
need
is
to be
rhetorical.
answered right now.
That is rhetorical.
What I enjoy about this conference is I think it's been around for 3 years.
Yeah.
And I think each year I've been able to add at least one one person or one contact that I would not necessarily have gotten to know in my little ecosphere here in the city of Bellingham. I don't like that phrase, but you do, and that's okay. But on Twitter, I'm able to add a friend, and so now I get a chance to expand my horizons. And
collaborate.
Hey, Gonzaga, and and see a couple others. Hey, University of Portland.
Wazoo Tri-Cities.
Exactly. So we're making these connections and making friends of those we may not necessarily encounter without this shared experience.
Totes.
So as far as the city of Spokane, were there any highlights to you as far as the...
Yes, actually. So I've been over on the east side quite a bit, and Spokane is always elusive to me. It's not really my vibe. It's not really my scene. But every time that I'm there, I try to branch out a little bit. Of course, the Riverside Park is always great. But there was a place that a student once told me to go check out, and it's this really cool, low-key, down-tempo, very minimal, I would almost say hipster in a positive way, coffee shop called Atticus Coffee.
Atticus Coffee, yes.
To which we went.
Yes, we did.
And it is like a little taste of Bellingham in downtown Spokane. I can't remember the street. It's right next to Boo Radley's, if you know where that is in Spokane. But Atticus Coffee, you're the goods. Like I will even say you're the best cup of coffee I've had in Spokane, and I've been around.
And that place, it has from a Bellingham standpoint, going over to Spokane, there's a wonderful element of paper dreams that we experience in Fairhaven. There's a wonderful experience of Lettered Streets coffee that gives you that real neighborhood vibe. There's a lot of quirkiness, and I use that in a good way.
There was a bird with a timepiece in a clear box. It was cool.
It's a great visual. And lots of interesting, independently crafted goods for sale.
Yeah.
And I thought that was really impressive as well. But just a great environment.
It was.
It's a place that you want to have an hour to read a book. And yes, there were those that were reading books or on their devices, and that was us.
Or, well, I was drinking the coffee.
There you
I
go.
like the coffee. It was good.
Exactly. So yeah, props to Atticus Coffee, and also props to Sushi Maru.
Oh, yeah, the place you took me to.
Yes. So I'm always a fan of sushi.
Neck high sushi.
Neck high sushi. And so for those of you who don't understand what neck high sushi is, let's go in the Wayback Machine back to earlier days when I was a bit of an eater. And
Pac-Man, nom, nom, nom,
I had
nom,
a
nom,
buddy
nom.
of mine that we would go to a conveyor belt sushi restaurant here in Bellingham, and we would eat the quantity of plates that as we would, the amount of plates would reach our necks. And that's a lot. And so,
And Chris is a very tall drink of water, ladies and gentlemen. That's a leaning tower of sushi.
I have a bit of a torso. But anyway, Sushi Maru has some great environment. It's in the mall in like downtown Spokane. There's a multi-floor retail establishment.
Yeah, I
And
think it's like Riverside Square Mall or something like that.
Forgive us for not having the accurate details on that, but Sushi Maru, M-A-R-U, I thoroughly enjoyed my experience there. Yeah. And should I ever get to visit Spokane in the future, I plan on attending that restaurant in the future.
I dig it.
So what's coming up next for AJ Barce Enterprises, world-renowned photographer extraordinaire?
Well, thank you.
You're welcome. What do you got going on?
Just working on the Patreon. I'm working on a vlog, and I got a couple of topics in the hopper. Obviously, 360 photography and videography is one of them. But also just looking at, I kind of dipped my toe into video, and I promised myself I wasn't going to because I like focusing on just one frame. But there's a lot of cool techniques that are out there, and a lot of people just think that you can only achieve them by doing the Adobe route. And so I've been looking to break that. And so I've got a couple of things in the hopper, and you can find out more about that by going to patreon.com, patreon.com/AJ Barce. And if you become a Patreon supporter, VIPNW is what I call it. And if you support me there, you can get vlogs and kind of tasty insider secrets when it comes to videography and photography.
You have for the past 2-3 years.
This is my second year. I've only been on Patreon for a year and then some.
Okay, but for that year and then some, you've set the standard that I've actually had a little bit of envy about, because you have knowledge and you share this knowledge, and people are able to help compensate, and you've lifted up the guitar case of your photography busking out there in the boulevard that is the internet. And I'm very proud that you've gotten a good amount of Patreon supporters, and it's inspiring because I've got information that I've accumulated in my head from my minimalism, my productivity, my internet.
You have a mind palace of minimalism.
Yes, and I don't really know how that would be Patreonable. But what I do is I share some things here and there in a little bit of a quiet conversation on my little newsletter thing that I deploy around Fridays or so. I took a week off from that.
I was just going to ask because I didn't see it, so I assumed it was because of the conference.
I was focused on actually delivering 2 cognizant, well-prepared presentations. That meant more to me. And also, one of the things I said early on was I choose not to clutter your inbox with unnecessary. Sure. And I didn't want to go, hey, I'm at the conference there. And so I want to make sure that what I deliver into an inbox means something and is worth the time.
Quality versus quantity.
Exactly. And so I do that, and working on the continuance of the Quiet Music Project. And among other things, just working on a couple other potential occurrences. I entered a contest.
Wait, what?
Recently. I entered a contest. Not that I'm going to be doing a shameless promo or anything. But now, for those of you that are listening to this that were attending Building Bridges, feel free to just be entertained. For those of you who live in Bellingham, the Port of Bellingham has a contest. And they have a contest to be for someone to be the voice of the Bellingham International Airport. In which you upload a WAV file of you saying, "Welcome to Bellingham International Airport," any unauthorized use will find you
Something.
Yes. And so I gave it a try. So we'll see what turns out. I'm sure there's plenty of entries, and I'm sure there's plenty of people that have that voice that the Port of Bellingham's looking for.
Very cool.
But I could be the voice of the Bellingham International Airport. That'd be pretty killer.
That would be pretty killer.
Anyway, and so just trying to have fun. And oh, by the way, happy spring.
Happy spring.
Yes. Can we please continue the thawing out and enjoying some nice weather that we can continue these shows out of doors?
Dear winter, please go home and nurse the hangover. Sincerely, Bellingham.
Dear winter, I hate you. Smoochies. Chris.
Smoochies.
All right, let's wrap this thing up.
That wraps up for this edition of BPM Tech. Thank you again so much for listening to us, rating us, reviewing us, or attending our session at Building Bridges. You can find us on the Google Play Store, the iTunes Store, the SoundCloud Network, Spreaker with an R, or anywhere else you like to podcast. Again, be sure to check us out on our website. That's BellinghamPodcast.com. You'll find all the cool smoochy boochy creative stuff that Chris and I come up with, including that cool 360 video clip. From the city of subdued excitement, I'm AJ Barce.
And from the Northwest of the Northwest, I'm Chris Powell. Thanks again for tuning in on 102.3 FM KMRE
Low Power
Community Radio. We'll see you again next time on BPM Tech.
Smoochies boochies.